Thank you so much for staying in this special edition of Consider This. I'm Melisa, Idris with me, Sharaad, Kuttan. We have Hisham Rais, activist, in the studio with us, alongside Thomas Fann, chairperson of Bersih 2.0. It was a heated argument, heated conversation a little bit earlier in the evening. We're going to keep that going. We spoke a little bit earlier to William Case from University of Nottingham, Malaysia, and I mentioned that he had pointed out a couple of years ago that there could be an authoritarian backlash should Pakatan Harapan roll out their reform policies, institutional reforms, too far, too fast. And I'm wondering, Thomas, do you think that this is the authoritarian backlash? Do you think Pakatan Harapan should have adopted a more measured pace in rolling out these reforms?
I fully agree with Professor Case that it's not a case of institutional reforms that was rolled out too fast. In fact, from our perspective, it is a bit too slow. But I think the problem is really how they roll out some of the reform. I think of like ISET, you know, Statue of Rome, and I think a lot more thought should have gone into it and engagement with the public before something like that is rolled out. Yeah. I think that is a failure, you know, and that has provoked the backlash.
Okay.
I agree. For example, let's say the case of ISET. This is the process, the failures of the people who come to power to understand what is actually the process of democratization. I criticize them because it should be debated, it should be open, the town hall meeting to discuss. And you remember ISET, it wasn't even translated into a Malay word. I said, apa tu makcik? I said tu ten, dia tak tahu dah. So they didn't know about the words. So that's why, they were anti-raja, tak suka raja. They were against king and against Islam. That's how it's exploited. By what is actually an international law against racial discrimination. If you ask the makcik, it's like that, huh? Tak suka. So that is why it was. That
what
also.
Why do you think they failed? Was it arrogance? Was it that they got too quickly complacent?
No, because they do not understand the process of democratization. They have not discussion. Look, for example, the case of smoking. It could have discussed, there are other people, come there, how to do it. Japan have banned smoking, a lot of people. But there is process of discussion. This is the process, the failure of Pakatan Harapan to democratize. They don't understand the meaning. Yes, it will take time. It will have to take time with that. So that is the process. The process, look, the Statue of Rome. You could explain it that if you don't study the Statue of Rome, you cannot, why you are complaining about the Palestinian? You have
so no... So just a failure of communication is what you're saying?
Yes, the narrative is, yes. That, for me, the two cases that Thomas Fann had mentioned, yes, it was the narrative not sold, not discussed, not it's not that I'm for smoking, but it was a good idea, but it failed. Why? You did not tell the people. There are people who are keen. If you explain to them, I'm sure the makcik, the pakcik, the orang kampung, oh, macam tu, oh, it's like that. So they will accept. Instead of saying, I said it's what? Against the king, against Islam.
Did you do anything to help with the communication?
Yes, I did. I told them to explain to them, translate the word I said into bahasa Melayu. Akta Penentangan Bangsa-Bangsa. So that's why I tell them, Statue of Rome, terangkan, explain to the makcik, the pakcik, then you say, if you do not sign this, you have no credibility to support Rohingya, to support Palestine. You tell them like that. You're not that, oh, kita. So that's why, this is where they fail.
Thomas, what do you think is going on? I mean, is it because we're all new at this game, that a lot of the politicians, some of them are actually quite authoritarian. I mean, Dr. Mahathir, notwithstanding, is not exactly known for his democratic credentials. Perhaps not the best suited to lead the democratization process. But okay, tell us. I mean, what do you think is going on?
I think certainly, you know, they are new at governing. That's one thing, and probably some even not very competent, you know, in governing. But also, I think we have to consider the fact that civil servants are used to doing things a certain way, and this has been the way things have been done always. And I think there has to be going to the ground, you know, to understand the current sentiments and to engage with the ground and to frame whatever that you want to do in a way that people can understand. because these are actually good laws, good conventions that all of us should accept.
I hear that communication is a big part of it. But no matter how well you communicate something, if there is a trust deficit, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Do you agree that perhaps the trust deficit has played a huge part in the failures?
Look at, you see, unfortunately, the time of Najib Razak, the time of Pakatan Harapan, we are into the world of the new media. Yeah. Okay, I was just telling them, those days when Tunku Abdul Rahman, on the 1st of September 1957, it wasn't like this. In fact, Temenggung juga, they had not go to school. I'm sorry, that's the stage. But today, there's everything. We are available, communication. Everybody is a TV producer. Everybody is a reporter. Everybody is journalist, a radio broadcaster. So these are the things, the new media, they are not used to all these things. So they're assaulted and they respond. Take, for example, our ex-Minister of Education. I mean, he fumbled from the shoe, from the baju, all this. So these are, because as Thomas Fann says, some of them, yes, experience, yes, and they have no idea. At the same time, the civil servant also, there are elements of sabotage. You must understand, today the state split into three. One state is with Pakatan Harapan, one state with Anwar Ibrahim, one state with big portion, hoping that Najib will come back. The other is the deep state. This is what is going on. So these are the factors. So the civil servant is part of the deep state, and you have to really, the professor said, you have to be very careful, and you have to understand this, how the state functions.
Thomas?
No, I mean, communication is a huge issue, and I think the Pakatan Harapan government failed to handle that, especially in this era that you mentioned, social media. Because this is the era of fake news, misinformation, and we are inundated just the last few days. We don't know what is true anymore. I think these are the real challenges that is happening, and I think whoever forms government or Pakatan Harapan come back again, they have to really handle this well. Communication.
Okay, I want to come back to the crisis because we are talking about the current crisis. Maria Chin took a big hit in terms of her reputation because she was seen at Sheraton. Perhaps you too, Hisham, have taken a big hit, right? No, she, like you said, she left after she noted her protest. You say you left because you saw Kuttan there.
No.
But the question is, I mean, do you think that all of you in some ways represent a class of people who don't trust each other? Coming back to the Anwar Ibrahim thing, is it because of trust?
No, the thing is that I've said just now, the issue, the essence of this debate, what's going on now, is the two contending situation. One is against Anwar Ibrahim, one is for. This is reflection. This is the manifestation.
Okay. Wait. Thomas, how do we get beyond this? If this is the situation,
this is the essence.
We're all going to be sacrificed on the basis of this contradiction, of this split. What do we do?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to change our focus, especially politicians, from the personalities, and start looking at the structural problems that we have inherited all these decades, and how we can strengthen them so that it doesn't matter that a monkey become a prime minister, because the institution, the structure, is going to keep them behaving. That is the priority right now in New Malaysia.
Right.
But can we achieve that now? Isn't that a process?
We can't achieve with this sort of politician. We can't achieve them. They are just thinking of themselves.
But look, listen, you must understand carefully. The experience of a changes the government is the first time. The same experience held by in Mesir, in Tunisia, also in Korea, and in Japan, and in there's always the new government is always the first government that overthrew the is the experimentation. This too. I'm not saying the justification we have to follow, but this is there. In Maldives, it follows the same thing because everybody is new. Everybody is new. Some then go to their head, the power. It's a new process. Yes, you look at the Kuomintang, they fall, they come in. Look at in the Korea. I'm telling you, the experience what we have now is good. It's education process. For me, it's education process. It's the journey of the human civilization. It's the journey of fellow Malaysians.
We have a couple of minutes left, and I want to take this opportunity because something you said earlier has been bothering me, Hisham. You said you left Sheraton on Sunday because you saw the UMNO politicians arrive. Did you not know that they were going to arrive? Was that a surprise?
No, it's not.
Were they uninvited?
No. Those things was afterthought. That's why the whole thing thought there was all planned. No, it was when their project failed, when they were hoping that Mahathir played balls, then they created the sting, you understand? So that was afterthought, you understand? The dinner was afterthought. I was there when asking, they were heckling about the price of per table. It was at 5:30 before you, that's what I'm saying. And asking, so I was observing the whole thing because I am merakam sejarah. I saw that. So it was
Did you observe who paid the bill?
No, I don't observe who paid the bill. I observed who was heckling about how much with the hotel manager, what was the menu. It wasn't...
Can you consider who organized the dinner? Maybe the bill will not get paid. But I want to ask you this. Thomas, where do we go from now? What are the likely scenarios? How do we heal the rifts in the interest of the country? How do we do this in the interest of the country too, Hisham?
Okay. For me, the process of democratization have to go on. The debate have to go on, the process of democratization, and I think the new government, whoever. But now we come back to the same Pakatan Harapan, which was dismantled and come back and say. So the debate, what happened now is, as I've said just now, the thing between forces for Anwar Ibrahim, forces, there's no in between now. You know, the battle is going on, so it has to be resolved because since the 9th of the 9th May, it's been going on about this process. It has to, by theoretically for me, that Friday should be the end of it.
Okay, Thomas, very quickly, what do you think will happen? What do you think must happen?
First of all, we cannot normalize or accept any backdoor government. Simply because if you normalize or accept it, it will destroy people's belief in our democracy. Why bother to vote a general election when you are going to change bait and change the thing? You know, this is undermining people's confidence in the democracy, and we have to reject it. And the only way to do it is if Pakatan cannot reform themselves as a government, have a snap election. Go back to the people.
No, I will disagree with that because in any process, whether in German, Social Democrat, they go and change. This is quite normal. It's quite normal. Lib Dem, Liberal Democrat, the coalition, it's happened everywhere.
There's a different system.
I know it has a process of
on that
Thank you very
note,
much.
we agree to disagree, and thank you so much for
bring them back
watching.
again, Melisa.
we have to bring them back for another special edition of Consider This. Thank you for staying with us so late in the evening. I'm Melisa Idris. With me, Sharaad, Kuttan, signing off for tonight. Thank you for watching and good evening.